This channel started with the separation of corporation and state as the first topic because it's the most important topic. There are a lot of problems in the world right now. Probably always have been. The thing about the problems these days is that so many of them share a common cause, or they share a common reason why it's so hard to tackle the problem. And there are a lot of passionate, hardworking people around the world trying to solve problems, but they're all facing the same challenge. That challenge is private, corporate, wealthy interests that benefit from that problem existing. Whether we realize it or not, there's a war going on. Not a conventional war, but a class war. On the one side are the billionaires and the people who own most of the assets and infrastructure in society. And the other side are the workers, people who earn their living by selling their time, whether that's per hour, per contract, or a yearly salary. This is a broad generalization because, of course, there are some people who sell their time and have investments. But broadly speaking, we can think about society as being two groups of people: the employers, and those that own everything, and the employees, the people who work for them. And there is a war going on between those two groups of people. And if you don't realize there's a war going on, you're probably on the losing side. So what do? That's why this channel started with the topic of separating corporation and state. To continue along with the metaphor of a war, a lot of wars are won by attacking the supply lines of your enemy. And if we think of what are we trying to win in this war, I would say we're trying to win control of government. Government is where public decisions are made. And right now, government has been captured by corporate interests. And the resource they use to capture government is their money. They use money to pay politicians, brainwash us through the media, to form non-government organizations that make it look like there's support for issues. They use money in so many different ways to manipulate us, to ensure that private, corporate, wealthy interests maintain control of government. So if control of government is what we're fighting for, and there's a war between the super wealthy people that own everything and the people who work for them, the people who sell their time, there's only one clear strategy that can really unite all the different groups around the world or within each country that are fighting for positive change, that are fighting to improve the world. And what unites them all, whether they realize it, is the need to get corporate money out of politics. What this amounts to in the metaphor of a war is to cut the supply lines of the enemy, to defund the corporate attack on government. If we can get money out of politics, government can be controlled by public interests again. Government can be a democracy again. So no matter what social issue you care about, it's highly likely that your battle is very difficult because corporate money controls government. So it's in everybody's interest, no matter what you're fighting for, to share this common goal, to get money out of politics. And how this happens in each country will be different, because the electoral system in each country is different. The strategy is the same: get money out of politics, but the tactics will have to depend on the electoral system and the types of organizations and networks that exist in a country. Any realistic solution will require a massive alliance of people and groups and networks that all share one common goal: to get money out of politics. And then all their separate fights will be easier to win. We have no hope of winning this war as long as corporate money can flow into government to control it. This is the single biggest issue, and it's the issue that should unite all the different movements around the world, that every movement in every country should unite around to prioritize. Because until money is extracted from politics, all the fights that people care about, all the issues that people care about won't get solved. All these separate fights that people are fighting are easier to defeat because they're separate. Corporations can defeat each fight separately quite easily. Divided, we fall. And so what needs to happen is a unification of all the causes and all the efforts of people fighting for a better world. If we come together and stay together just long enough to make a constitutional change banning corporate money from influencing public affairs, as outlined in the videos in this series, then all the other issues that everyone cares about will be much, much easier to achieve. If this makes sense to you and you agree, One thing you can do is share it with others. This account is not monetized, so I'm not going to benefit, but I will benefit if society can be made better. Send this message far and wide, because if enough people see the logic behind it and act as one to get money out of politics, then we stand a fighting chance in this war. Each separate fight is too easy to defeat. By making each fight prioritize the one true cause of all the problems, then we can defeat that and move on to solve all these other problems. But as long as wealthy corporate interests can funnel money into public affairs, we fight an impossible battle. And we will not win this war unless we cut off the enemy's supply lines.